Market fans, my name is Katie Hall and I am here doing my first Make and Take virtual workshop. And today we are going to make something that's very easy for everyone to do in their homes. It's a great activity for parents and their kids. We are going to make bath bombs. Today I'll be presenting a very simple recipe for your bath bombs. Basically all it's going to be are these simple ingredients. So what you will need in your house to make these along with me as you watch this video, so you will need a medium-sized bowl. You're going to need some baking soda, some cornstarch. You're going to need citric acid, and I know that sounds really weird, but it's very simple to find. You can find it at Kroger with any of the canning supplies, or if you go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, in their crafting aisle where you find the melt and pour soaps and candles, they will have little baggies of citric acid there for you. Another thing you're going to want to make these is, if you are into essential oils, you want to very carefully select an essential oil. I would say for your very first batch, you want to stick with citrus scents because they are all skin safe. I wouldn't branch into the other essential oils until you have a little bit more of a foundational knowledge of what you'll be using, because you have to be very careful, not only with sensitive skin, but with children. When you're using essential oils, it's very easy to go heavy and they can become toxic in very high quantities. If that sounds a little bit intimidating for you, I use these wonderful Piping Rock fragrance oils. So Piping Rock is a place where I buy all of my essential oils and fragrance oils online. They are very affordable, but they are also very high quality. I can't recommend anything more than these. So if you're looking for a fragrance oil to use in these, go ahead and check out their plant-based fragrance oils. They are absolutely wonderful, and that's what I personally use in my bath bombs. Last but not least, you want them to be very fun and brightly colored, don't we? So in the baking aisle of Kroger, you can use water-soluble food coloring. And you want to make sure that it's water-soluble, because if you use the oil-based, it is going to leave a horrible ring on your tub that no one wants to clean. So let's go ahead and hop into it. I'll show you the process of making them, and then afterwards, I'll talk a little bit what makes my bath bombs a little bit different. So to mix the bath bombs, you can use a whisk, but me personally, I like to get my hands all up in there. So to be able to do that, I also recommend you to wear some PPE, some personal protective equipment. Not because any of the ingredients are inherently dangerous, but when you're mixing citric acid with your hands, it can affect your nails, and it kind of makes them turn a little bit white just because it is an acid. So you don't really want to do that too often, but you would be fine if you're just making one small batch and you want to get your hands in there. Me, since I'm making them 3-4 times a week, I always make sure to wear gloves. What I did to prepare for this workshop is I pre-measured out my ingredients, but I will walk you through just the same. So the basic ingredients, again, are going to be 4 parts baking soda. So if you have a 1/4 cup measuring cup, you can do 1 full cup of baking soda. Then, to kind of help them dry out a little bit, you want to do 1 part cornstarch. So like I said, I have mine already pre-measured because I use a kitchen scale, which you can absolutely do as well if you're feeling super scientific. Bath bombs are very finicky, especially if your house is humid. So it's very important to get these measurements correct, or you're gonna have some wonky bath bombs. Or they're going to crack when they're going to dry. So it's very, very important to get this mix right. Because I have had so many foxy faces tell me that they've tried to make these at home and they never turn out right. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to give you some tips and tricks. So the next part that I did not mention when I was explaining the ingredients is isopropyl alcohol. When you're making these and you're adding the wet ingredients, you never, ever, ever want to add water, because water will make that chemical reaction happen and then they'll be fizzing in your bowl before you even get them into your molds. So after you've measured out your starch and baking soda, you want to mix those two ingredients in your bowl. Do not add your citric acid yet. You want to add your liquids first. Because again, you want to prevent that chemical reaction from happening. So I went ahead and added my isopropyl alcohol that I measured out earlier. So how much you need is dependent on how much you can spray in there. So basically, since I measured mine out beforehand, you want to do 1 part liquid. That 1 part liquid will not only include your isopropyl alcohol, but it will include about 2 teaspoons of either your essential oils or your fragrance oils. You do not need much more than that. And to make them brightly colored, you're going to do 1 squirt of your water-soluble food coloring. And now we mix. And just like measuring your ingredients, getting this texture perfect is very important. And that's why I like to measure beforehand and while I like to mix with my hands. Perfect. So what you are looking for while you're mixing this up, either with a whisk or with your hands, again, it's so much easier to tell with your hands. But it's gonna look kind of like kinetic sand if you've ever played with it. It's actually a really fun texture, and what you want is when you squeeze a palm of it, you want it to hold its shape. So perfect, we are right at optimal consistency. Now is that super special time where you add your citric acid. Why are we adding it after we added everything else, you say? Because you don't want that chemical reaction to happen until you put this bath bomb into your bath. Too wet, it will react in the bowl. Too dry, it won't hold together. So here's your citric acid. So what do we have? We have 4 parts of baking soda, 1 part cornstarch, and 1 part citric acid, as well as your 1 part of isopropyl alcohol, 2 teaspoons of your fragrance of choice, plus 1 squirt of your favorite water-soluble food coloring. Okay, you're just gonna give this a good mix. More than likely, you might rip a glove just because that's citric acid, which is fine. It's not gonna hurt you. You're obviously bathing with it, so it's perfect. When it starts to hold together as you're mixing it, you know it's time to mold it. So you can use a traditional bath bomb mold that, again, when you're buying your citric acid at a hobby store or at a supply store, they more than likely will have these really cute bath bomb molds for you. But if you're doing this from things you have at home, I also brought just a little scoop that you can find anywhere, and it still makes a really cute shape. So let's start off with the traditional bath bomb mold. You want to get a good scoop and press it with your palm. And the key to a perfectly shaped bath bomb is you want to overfill your molds, because you're going to press them pretty darn hard to get that shape to stay. So you're going to have a little bit of an overfill, but that's the fun part, is you get to make a mess. And if you're doing this with kids, bring a broom, because it is going to get all over the place. So now we've got it tightly packed. You're going to give it a little tap. Again, you're going to make a mess. And you unmold the perfect bath bomb. We'll just set that right there. And now let's use the unconventional little scoop that I found in my kitchen. I don't even know what it was for, but now it's going to be a bath bomb. So the key to using one of these is you're going to press it with your palm as hard as you can and as tight as you can, because you want it to keep its shape. You're going to fill it all the way to the top. Your fingers are going to get a workout. And there we go. Again, you want to tap it out because you want to loosen it. And flip it. Might need to give it a little bit of a help. And there we go, look at that, it's so cute. So, you should be able to make 4 or 5 bath bombs with this base recipe that I gave you. Very minimal ingredients. After you have them all pressed out, which I'm not going to do right now, you're gonna let them sit in a dry place for about 48 hours, and they're gonna completely dry out. All of that isopropyl alcohol is gonna evaporate out of your bath bomb, and it's gonna leave you with a really hard tub, like this one that I made earlier. So like I said, this bath bomb that I made earlier has been drying for about 48 hours, so it's nice and hard. It is not going to fall apart, and it is ready for use in your bathtub. And if you don't know, I brought a little demo if you've never used a bath bomb before and you want to know the magic that is bath bombs. So I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. So this very basic recipe with just the cornstarch, baking soda, and citric acid just makes a little bathtub treat. It's just something to kind of add a little bit of fun to your bath time. It fizzes up, it changes colors, just to add a little bit of fun. But if you're looking for something with a little bit more of a benefit, I do offer a host of bath bombs on foxandsocksoapery.com. So let's talk about some of the benefits of my bath bombs that I made for you. While this was a super fun activity to do for yourself or with your kids, it's something that you can actually use, adds a little bit of fun to bath time, makes kids want to take a bath, and adds a little bit of smell goods to your bath time. If you're looking for something with more nourishing benefits, something to help balance your skin pH, add a little bit of moisture to dry winter skin, or if you're looking for some aromatherapy benefits that you weren't too quite sure how to mix on your own, I do all the heavy lifting for you. So in my workshop, I have a bath bomb press where I make these bath bombs using a mix of not only the base ingredients that I showed you here today, but I add a blend of nourishing oils and butters, as well as therapeutic grade essential oils. This one that I brought here today to share with you is Happy Hippie. It's orange and patchouli mix. So it smells very bohemian. It's an uplifting fragrance, something to make you happy. It's made with Epsom salt, cocoa butter, coconut oil, and it is also a bubble bath. I add a special coconut-derived detergent into these bath bombs that make your whole bathtub into a bubble bath. So while the basic recipe was a lot of fun and it fizzed up, and as you can see, it turned the water bright, bright blue, this actually transforms your bath into a spa and makes it into a wonderful, luxurious bubble bath just for you. Feel free to check out all of my offerings that will now, as of today, be back in stock on foxandsocksoapery.com. I have all kinds of nourishing blends for you that won't leave your skin greasy, it won't leave your tub slick, it won't leave that ring that most bath bombs that you buy leave. So there will be no cleanup after you've had a luxurious bath. Thank you so much for participating in this Make and Take workshop. It was so much fun to be with all of you virtually. And again, thank you Second Street Market for not only hosting, but presenting this video with all of you. And make sure to check out foxandsocksoapery.com for all of your luxurious bath bomb needs.